Hello, hi teachers. This is the instructional guide for Primary 5, Term 2, Week 3. This week, we're going to start on area of triangle. There are two booklets. Let's start with the first one. Here, I think basically just explain to them the naming conventions for triangles. Example here, P is a vertex. QR is a side of a triangle. So we can call it PQR, right? We can also call it RQP. Now, the next one is basically to get them to identify where the height is. Okay, so for any triangle, right, if you identify this as the base, for example, NM, then the height is where the vertex, right, the opposite side, right, L in this case, forms a line and is perpendicular to NM. All right, so hence the height must be perpendicular to the base. Okay, so that's the way to measure a triangle or to name the dimensions. All right, go through some of these different configurations. Like so, if if this is the base LM, then the height is perpendicular, right? May check one, remind them perpendicular means 90 degrees. Now, what happened if for this triangle here, right, the base is UT, right? So where is the height? Is the height perpendicular line just straight here? Right? So you have to tell them, no, it must, the perpendicular line, right, must touch the vertex, the opposite vertex, which is S. Now, in this case, you cannot go diagonal this way because then it's no longer 90 degrees. So what you need is you need to form some imaginary line, right, which is the dotted line, extend it so that, right, at another point, you can form a vertical line that connects to the vertex S. All right, same goes with here, right? Every time you see if the base is too short, usually it's because the base is too short. You cannot form a line, so you got to extend it a bit. Okay, and then form dotted line. So what about here? Sometimes the base is very long. Okay, so you need to find a middle point then, create a point where the vertex T, right, touches, forms a straight line with one of the points on US to give a perpendicular line. Okay, so it's important for them to understand this concept. Then get them to do guided practice, all the guided practice in class, right? Please make sure they know how to do it. And the next part is about drawing triangles. Okay, I will remind them to bring a set square. But even without set square, they can easily use a ruler instead. Okay, so explain to them the concept of using a set square to draw the imaginary line, right? Or they can use a ruler, right? But a set square would give them a perfect 90 degrees in that sense. Requires some skill. Okay, and then I think it is a bit time consuming to do all the guided practice for this one. So I'll just like them to do C and D. Okay. All right, next, let's move on. And then other questions to do. We're going to skip a lot of questions and get them to do 5A and B. Check that they know how to do it. Okay, and then finally one question here, 10A. Oh, sorry, another one here, 10B, right, where they extend the line. Okay, and then that's it. We move on to the next booklet. Okay, the next booklet is on finding area of a triangle. So we need to explain to them the formula half times base times height. Why half times base times height, or half times length times height, whatever you call it, right? Base. It's because if you think about a triangle, sorry, height. So if you think of a triangle has in a way, length and breadth, right? So if I halve the rectangle, it becomes a triangle. So the triangle is actually half the size of a rectangle. That's why it's half times length times breadth, or half times base times height, because of the dimensions that we have used that are attributed to triangles. Okay, so explain them in format. Now, these are some special condition, right? Take note, right? Get them to see that if, let's say, well, this one is quite obvious. Okay, a half of a rectangle is basically, you can look at it that way, half. Okay, this help them solve harder questions next time, where they have to figure out, like what is actually, how do I actually calculate this? Now, if you look at another condition here, special condition, if let's say the triangle is within a box and the corner touches the opposite side, okay, this is actually half of it, right? It makes half. And for this one here, okay, the base 2 units, and then it touches any of the point here, right? It's actually equivalent to a quarter of it. Okay. All right, let's see. Then get them to do the guided practice, the whole set here. All right. After that, skip to once the guided practice is done, get them to do E and F. Okay, on their own, but watch them, make sure that they know how to do it correctly, properly. And then C and D. And I think that's it. Yeah. Oh, one last question here. Or maybe not so. Okay, 17, page 17B. 23, question 7. And that's it. Okay, thank you.